Welcome home, neighbors. This is the DeFrancesco family from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, owners at Bay Lake Tower. You're listening to My DVC Points.
Parents and the children could have fun together.
Please board quickly and safely. Our monorail will be departing momentarily.
Welcome to the My DVC Points podcast. Join the conversation as DVC members share their stories, personal preferences, and magical memories. Your reservation is confirmed, your fast passes are booked. Pull up on the yellow strap because our journey into the magic of membership is about to begin.
To infinity and beyond.
Now, here's your host and curator of magical stories, Chad Pennycuff.
Welcome home, neighbors, to episode 274 of the My DVC Points podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at DVCResaleMarket.com. They are the world's leader in DVC resales. Within a few days of this podcast dropping, you're going to be getting in your annual due statement. And there's nothing that kind of motivates more people to sell that annual due statement. It's the inoculation for add-on-itis. We get it once a year, and every year about this time of year, the listings tend to spike up into the market. And if that's you, give our friends over at DVC Resale Market a call because they're the world's leader in DVC resales. 6 out of 10 resale contracts that sells today is being sold through one of their agents. They are the 500-pound gorilla of DVC resales. And if you're getting ready to sell a contract, they'll help find you a buyer lickety-split. And if you're buying a contract, you're going to get the largest selection of any place out there on the intranet, as well as the best website that's out there. DVCResaleMarket.com. Let them know you heard about them here on the My DVC Points podcast. In today's show, we're talking with David Lewis on his DVC journey. So I want to welcome David to the show. How you doing today, David?
Doing great. Thanks, Chad.
Tell me a little bit about your Disney backstory here and how did all the infatuation with the mouse start to begin for you and your family?
Yeah, it started pretty young. The earliest I can remember going is my grandma would take all of us to Disney World when we turned 6 years old. I have a cousin who's the same age as me, so we went together, but all the older siblings went on their own. And grandma would take us down to Disney World and at 6 years old, and it was kind of a rite of passage. So it was pretty exciting. I might have gone before then as well, but that's one of the first memories that I still have.
Yeah, about 6 years old, you start to remember things. I've always been told, don't take them before 5 because they won't remember it. And then the travel agents are always really quick to chime in there with, oh, but you will. And
yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons why we even bought DVC, and we can go into that later. But I mean, I wanted to be able to do that for my grandkids as well. So, but yeah, we kept traveling down there. We were from Chicago, or I lived in Chicago, went down to Sanibel Island. And so whenever we'd go down to the Sanibel Island there, we would usually hit Disney on the either before the trip or after the trip. So kind of just grew up going to Disney World.
Now I have to ask, have you been back to Disney World with your cousin since that grandma took you with?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now we've been there multiple times. Some of the pictures that I sent you, he was there with us there. He's not in those pictures, but yeah, we're 2 months apart, have girls that are the same age, or my daughter and his 2 girls are basically the same age. So they're like best friends. And so, yeah, we're pretty close.
Okay. That's awesome that grandma kind of started this lifelong thing that's kind of continued on in your adult journeys as well. And it's great that you've remained friends with family because you can pick your friends and you can't pick your family. And sometimes it just doesn't work out too well that friends and family don't go hand in hand, but you're really fortunate and you're really blessed that that's the case for you.
Definitely blessed.
You started coming to Disney. What led you into the whole DVC pivot thing?
Oh man, I'm kind of a worker of the systems. And so my parents had timeshares with RCI and II, but RCI at the time, we were going down to Disney World. And I'm like, my mom had mentioned that she could turn her RCI points in for Disney points. But, obviously it's really hard. And so, but she was able to find it. And so my wife and I went down for we had just had our first son. We dropped him off at Grandma and Grandpa's, and then we headed down, just the 2 of us, and got to stay at Saratoga Springs on RCI points. And so that was pretty awesome. And went to the sales office and listened to the whole pitch and loved it. Didn't buy then. Wish I had, but I didn't buy then. Can't remember what the points were, but I think they were pushing 115 points at the time. And I don't know, it was like $85 a point or something. I know.
Oh my gosh, that had to be like Bay Lake Tower or pre-Bay Lake Tower.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It was pre-Bay Lake Tower.
Animal Kingdom or something along those lines.
Animal Kingdom had maybe just opened up. Yep. They had maybe just opened up. So we didn't buy then, unfortunately. I wish I had, but we didn't. And then again, a few years later, we were going down there again. I'm like, Mom, can you look and see if you can get us a place? And we got, what was it? Oh man, it was the best. So our kids were a little older at the time, and it was Beach Club. Believe it or not, she got Beach Club, 2-bedroom with RCI points. So we went down with our
that
three.
Next to never happens these days, but.
Oh my! I'm trying to. Sometimes I look and I can't even get it at 7 months. The 2 bedrooms, but yeah. So it was unbelievable. We had 3 kids at the time, and that obviously the slide's amazing. We love going to eat dinner at Epcot at nighttime. So a lot of times we do the park hopper, and actually I can go into this whole awesome pass I got a few years ago for that trip. But yeah, it was wonderful. So again, got a second one, lucky. And then it got really hard to get that. And so I don't know if it's just DVC grew, more members, whatever it is.
Your mom's little really RCI secret got out. Like, the gig was
right,
up.
Right.
The gig was up.
The gig was up. And she tried a couple other times, and it just, it didn't work. And so whenever we went down there, if we did, we'd have to stay at either an offsite property. So sometimes we'd rent a house, or we did do Beach Club during COVID. Or not Beach Club, Caribbean Beach, but they were fixing up their whole kind of pool restaurant area. And so since it was under construction, we were able to get a pretty good price on that.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Disney hotel rooms, they do go on super duper sales every now and then. Like, it could be a construction sale. It could be a refurb of the pool or something like that. That they'll fill their hotel rooms. Don't worry about that. They'll lower the price till they're there. So.
Yep. And they did. And we went. And it was wonderful. The Sky thing was in, and Riviera was actually complete. So that was nice. But obviously it wasn't over there, but we could see it. So, yeah.
So that sounds pretty recent then. So when in this journey part did the switch flip and you say, okay, I'm going to buy some points?
Well, so I was looking at resale, looking at direct, and I really wanted direct. And I know that they can take all the benefits away and all the different things, but there's one benefit I don't think they'll ever take away. And if they did, that's probably the downfall of DVC, is that you can use your points at any past, present, and future DVC resort. So one of my bucket lists is that, I'll go to all the Disney parks, and I'm hoping that DVC opens a hotel at all the parks, although I know it's really hard probably to open them overseas with all the legalities and stuff. But if they ever did, I wanted to be able to use my points to go there. And then I wasn't able to buy used points before it changed to just a Legacy 14. And then everything else was restricted after that. And so I know there was that time, and I tried to pull some money together, but just couldn't pull enough together to get a used contract that would have been grandfathered in to use anywhere. Yeah. So I started looking for prices. And when we bought, it was right before Old Key West was it was really low points compared to everything else that was out there.
I remember that.
It was like 140 or 165 points, but they had great incentives, really good incentives. And so when it was all said and done, we bought 250 points, and I split it into 2 125 contracts because that's all you needed to have the blue card or digital card, whatever they call it now. And so I did get 250. So I got the full bonus of the 250, but I split it into 2 125 that if I ever wanted to sell one off, I could, and they would both be direct still. And then with the point values and then renting back my points to DVC rental store for that first year, because I convinced the guy to give me a February use year because of when we take vacations is typically spring break and summer. I wanted a February use year. And so I think we ended up paying $35K for 250. So I think it was about $140 a point direct. And at the time, the Old Key West 57s were around the 130. So it was about a 10 point, delta. And for me,
that's a no brainer, dude.
That's a no brainer.
Yeah. Right. That's so $10 a point, 250 points, what is that? $2,500 to be able to be locked in for 2057. You're going to be able to use your points any place you want.
Yep.
And
exactly.
Get the blue card, the benefits, the annual passes. Like a family of 4, what you'd save on annual passes alone, you could make up to $2,500 in probably 2 sets of annual passes for your family.
Yeah, and we're family of 5 even. So even
okay.
extra,
Yeah. So not even 2 years of annual passes, and you've broken even on that extra cost, plus the 10% discount here and there, wherever else. Yeah. I mean, we're huge fans of resale here. We're huge fans of buying direct here. You just got to do the math on it and figure out what's best for your family. If somebody was coming in with $2,500 difference, for me, I'm taking the direct route all day long, right? All day long.
Easy.
And
I mean, I would probably even go to even maybe $20 to $25 difference. I still think the benefits are worth it, but in this case, that $10, and I figured, what, I need to wait 3 to 5 years, and then it will probably surpass what I paid. And so, if I wanted to sell it, well, my theory is that it goes up in price until it hits year 20, and then maybe it starts to level out or go down. So I got a good, at the time, I had 17 years to use it before it hits 20 year.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen there because Beach Club really hasn't really seen that happen. But the regular Old Key West, the non-extended, is starting to tank. Vero starting to tank. But we don't know if that's COVID. We don't know if that's time frame. We don't know what that is. But it's at some point in time, the bubble's going to burst on this, which is why when I got ready to sell my resale stuff, Beach Club's my favorite resort here, but I dumped it first.
Yeah.
I dumped it first because I don't want to be holding that bag come 2042.
Yeah. Well, that's what I go through it. And so that's why I went through that's what kind of helped me get into it, right? Is I'm like, okay, so basically I can pay $35K and I can talk how I did that. I totally worked the Southwest system and I feel like I paid $20K of that off like within one trip. But then I get free vacations, or at least the lodging part, for 17 years. And by 17 years from now, if the mouse keeps buying them back, which they need to start doing again to get the resale rates up, then I basically went on 17 years of free vacations. Yeah. And I probably made some money on it.
Yeah, or 17 years for the cost of your dues, which is still pretty dang cheap, right?
Right. Sorry, yeah, the dues. Yep, exactly. Yep.
And the opportunity cost of what that 35K would have yielded in an investment, obviously. But it's you kind of got to do the math on this stuff. And that's what we're big fans of here is like, do your math, do your homework, and whatever you decide for your family, that's cool. We'll be friends, right? I don't care if you're direct. I don't care if you're resale. We're friends with everybody. I just want to help people make an informed decision about what's best for their family. And the way we do that is by talking with you to get your take on it. And that helps other people make up their mind. And that's the beautiful part of this show and why these interviews, I stopped doing them for a while and people just broke out the pitchforks and were like, Chad, what happened to the interviews? And I'm like, well, people quit signing up for them. And we lost our lead recruiter when Marianne went from chief interview coordinator to live show co-host. That's kind of the story. So if anybody's looking for a part-time fun deal to do in the DVC community, we're always recruiting for some help, and somebody to schedule and coordinate interviews would just be the bomb. It's really just a matter of looking through the community groups and seeing who's posting a lot and going, hey, this sounds like a good person to bring on the show, and reaching out to them and lining it all up. But she did a phenomenal job at that. So I'm kind of mourning the loss of Marianne awesomeness here.
Yeah.
She's still doing awesome stuff on the live show, and we love Marianne to death, right? Can't say enough great things about her. But yeah, that's the story. So okay, now has add-on-itis kicked in since this time?
Oh, it has. It has. One more thing on that last story. So I would say that what really clinched it was when we did that trip to Caribbean Beach, 5 of us in one room. Oh my goodness. That was the last time we're going to travel like that. And so with the DVC,
I've said it before, David, I'll say it again. Doors are a beautiful thing.
Yes. Doors, bedrooms, kitchen, laundry. I mean, you name it. 2 bedrooms is just kind of our deal. And so leading to the next question of add-on-itis, yeah, $250 gets you, if you're renting deluxe, gets you great. If you're renting 1 bedrooms, can probably work for you. But when you're doing the 2-bedroom, sure, at Old Key West, which we just did a couple weeks ago, worked great. But when you're doing pretty much anything else besides Saratoga, Old Key West, and Animal Kingdom, you're needing more than 250 points.
Yeah, 250 ain't cutting it no more.
No, so I started looking at resale, and resale is a really good price right now. But again, it comes back to, I just want to know that I can use all my points at any future resort going forward. And the Disneyland Hotel was coming out. Now, I didn't buy there because it was just way too much. So what I did is when Grand Floridian was having that fire sale, oh my goodness, again, I ran the numbers, got 150 points with Magic Beginnings, and we were staying on property in November, so they gave me another $1,500 off. Plus, I was already an owner, so I got that discount. We ended up getting it, I think, for basically $165 a point, which now that it's sold out, I guarantee I just made a good $30 to $50 a point in the next year, probably, as soon as Disney starts buying some of these back and their resale goes up to 200 plus.
Yeah, we're not far from 165 right now on the resale market. So
right. So even if we're a break even now, but before they even came out with this, what was it going for 220, 230 or something like that?
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. Definitely insane.
So I feel like I got a great deal on that one. So it was almost too good to pass up. So I waited till the very last day, to kind of like what you guys have said, see what the new incentives are coming out. And I talked to my guy at DVC, and he kind of told me what was coming out, and it wasn't even close. So I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah, when they announced final call on Grand Flow, that final call sale was it, because the next set of incentives that came out were not pretty. And they were like, those incentives after final call are like, well, if you still want it because our other marketing is still working and you want to buy this, we're really just going to like make hay while the sun is shining while we got these points and just ream over the last few buyers of this resort. And But if you can catch it when it's on them fire sales, and right now I think is a pretty good sale that there's like a pre-Christmas sale that's just running just for Christmas time, where they took the published incentives and they added on another $1,000 or so. Now's a pretty good time if you're looking at buying direct. I'm just saying.
There's other discounts they don't advertise. And so I would even ask, whoever your agent is, I didn't even know about the $1,500 savings for staying on property.
Yeah, for having another vacation booked. Yeah.
Another booked, yeah. And it was later. I had it later. I could have canceled it. I didn't, but I could have. But I had it booked, and well,
the thing of it is, it's like you're a DVC member. You should always be having a vacation on the books. And unless you're going beyond 11 months from now, like you should always have something on the books. Like this is the way DVC works. It's
exactly. So that's what I did there. And then on both of those purchases, I also feel pretty good because I definitely worked the Companion Pass system with Southwest. So, with getting basically Companion Pass extra on each of those, plus all the points for Southwest, I feel like I made another 10 to 15,000 over both of those purchases, at least just in companion passes and points. Flights.
Yeah, and what you're talking about here is you paid for your contracts with a credit card, which we can do and get the points on.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like if you do it on the Southwest one, you're going to get Southwest points. And the pro insider tip there is to buy it with a Chase Sapphire Reserve card, because you'll get 3x points on the DVC purchase and 3x points on loan principal payments on it as well. So that's just going to rack up some points.
Oh my goodness! So I got to do it all over again? Is that what you're saying?
You got to rinse and repeat, David. And
wait, so if you do that, what you just said, and then you transfer all the points over to Southwest, it'll still count towards the Companion Pass?
That does not give you Companion Pass credit that way. So you have to spend on a Southwest card.
Okay,
right?
So I was still good then.
If you sign up for the two cards, the personal and the business, you put the minimum spend on those right about now. I think today recording is the last day for this killer promotion. But yeah, you can hit those two cards. They'll unlock enough to give you a Companion Pass from the minimum spend, and then put all your other spend on the Sapphire cards, where you actually earn more.
There you go. See, I just learned something else. I love it. Yeah,
that's kind of the way this works, is like not only do I do the DVC thing, but I also, like, the back of my brain is an optimizer and an analyst. And it's like, I got to figure out the optimal way to do everything, because I don't have enough money to accomplish all of my mouse goals. And I've got big mouse goals, David. So I just got to like work my systems in the background to get more mouse for whatever limited money I have. That's just the way
if I don't remember, I need you to send me some of your spreadsheets.
I know you can Google like Ask Sebi calculators on Companion Pass and some other things, and he's a credit card guy. Ask Sebi, SEBBY.com, and you'll get some good credit card info and points from him as well. That's a pro tip out there, and a shout out to my buddy Sebi. Okay, so the Grand Flow hit. Now, has any other add-on-itis come along, David, or are we good for now?
Well, so 400's good. I only have so much money, right? You can only buy what do you say? What's the phrase? Only buy what
you can reasonably afford.
Okay. Well, I've tapped out. Okay, so I'm tapped out on that for now. But what I think I might do, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see what kind of incentives come. But, those old Key West points have high dues, and I might want to be dumping one of those. So when the Poly Tower comes on, if it's a really good price and I can basically dump my 2 old Key West points, 57s, for at least close to what maybe 200 points would be over there, then I would do that. Or, and they're not probably going to go up a lot in the next couple months because I think that's coming out early next year. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. But no, 400's good. The other thing is I love Alani, and I've got a book partly booked for next summer because I was there at 7 month, clicking accept, and it was weird because I got the Monday or the Sunday and then the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I need that Monday. And so if I had just had 11-month window, I could have got the Monday. And so it's so cheap on the resale website that I've looked into that. But no, 400 right now. My wife would kill me if I probably bought any more.
Yeah, well, this is why we go to work, David. We go to work to earn more money, to get more points and get a little more mouse. Like that's, hi, my name is Chad and I'm an addict, right?
Exactly. So I'm the addict. She likes the nice hotels, which is another reason why we love DVC, because she grew up going on vacations to like nice hotels. I grew up going to the theme parks. So I like the activity of the theme parks. She likes going to really nice hotels. And so for us, it works. But yeah, I don't know if I can't do any more right now. So 400's good.
400's good. We're going to make do with that.
Yeah.
Well, then let me ask you this, David. I know you got an Alani trip coming up, but what else is on your DVC bucket list moving forward?
All of them. I want to hit every one of them. Love to do Vero soon. So maybe piece that with, one of the other Disney worlds I haven't done yet, or a cruise or something. Hilton Head, I don't know. I haven't looked. I want to hit all of them just so I can check off the box that says I hit them all.
Yep.
But I think that's probably the one that I'm not super excited to go to Hilton Head, and especially since it's not on the beach. But pretty much all the other ones I want to hit. So far, I've done Saratoga. I've done Beach Club, Kidani Village. I've done Old Key West.
Have you stayed at your home of Grand Flow yet?
No, I just got that one. But
Okay.
but my son and I, when we were out there a couple weeks ago at Old Key West, I just stayed at Old Key West for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I've owned it for a couple years now. Oh, Alani. I did Alani. I did Alani. That was my first DVC stay, was at Alani. It was during COVID. We had a cruise booked like on March 25th. Yeah, right when COVID started, and the cruise was canceled. And so we were able to, right when Alani had reopened up, so it might have been a year later, but we just needed to get away as a family. So I was able to get 5 nights at Alani, which is actually, I think, about the perfect time there. Got a 2-bedroom, and that was our first actual stay.
Yeah, I'm with you there. About 4 or 5 nights and I'm good at Alani. I'm ready to island hop. I'm ready to do something else there. Yep. And there's only so many times I can go around that lazy river there.
I do 2 days on, 2 days off. So I do 2 days kind of going around the island, and then 2 days chilling at the hotel. So I think that's about the perfect time that I leave. Like, can't wait to come back, but not overstayed,
Yeah. I think we were there 8 days last time, and it was a little bit much. So this summer, 4 or 5 is what we're shooting for, and then we're looking at 3 days at Disneyland Hotel, the new 2 bedrooms there I've got on the books. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Now, have you been to Jambo at all? I didn't hear a Jambo there.
Well, so before this cruise that got canceled, I actually had, I had like 130 points left over from something. I don't know if we sold a bunch back, and it was like, I can't remember how I had those left over, but we're going on a cruise with Royal Caribbean, so not Disney. But before the cruise, we were going to stay at one of the 3 bedrooms with the pool table and everything over there at Jambo. Then the cruise got canceled. So no, I haven't stayed at Jambo, but if I went back to Animal Kingdom, that would be my preference.
Yeah. Those 3 bedrooms at Jambo are pretty epic. Any of the flat 3 bedrooms, like the ranch style, I'm in on. I'm not a big fan of the up and down stairs, but I think Bay Lake Tower might convince me otherwise. That's a pretty epic window view there, 2 stories up. So we'll have to give that one a try one of these days.
We just toured it.
Well, let me ask you this question then, David. If Tinkerbell were to put 2,000 one-time use points into your account that she had personally pixie dusted to book anything in the DVC system with guaranteed availability, because they're pixie dusted points, how would you spend Tink's 2,000 pixie dusted points?
Well, Chad, I got the penny pincher option and I got okay, if I can't do this other option, then I'll do that one. So again, one of my bucket lists is to visit all the parks. So I would rent out all 2,000 points to the DVC rental store and then go and stay at all the other parks. So the Asian parks, the European park, and get, just pay for hotels because it'll be cheaper than transferring into the hotel system. So that's probably what I'd do. If not, if I had to get DVC units themselves, I would probably do couple 3 bedrooms, bring a bunch of the family, depending how long. Grand Flow 3 bedroom looks pretty sweet as well. But I also love Disneyland. So I'd probably just travel around, between land and world and get as much as I could. But I would want to bring people with me. So depending who I brought with, if I brought my cousin and his family, it'd be a 2 bedroom. If it was more than that, then we either need to get 2 bedrooms or a 3 bedroom, depending who I brought. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know DVC Rental Store would be glad to get those 2,000 points, especially if you were to give them like Run Disney Weekends or some sweet stuff like that would like be going at a premium. So that's what I would do with the points if I was trying to go to the international route. I'd be like cherry picking the Run Disney Weekends and the suite rooms there, and then just jacking the price up on the rental store. I got no shame in that.
2,000 points at $16 a point, which I know sometimes they have deals at 18 or more, but let's say $16 a point, $32,000. I think I got a bunch of Disney vacations in there for that.
I definitely do. And if you did a point swap with them and use them as your TA to book it all, you might even get a little even sweeter deal in that one as well. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be asking for some credits or something along those lines and definitely doing that. Okay, so it sounds like you're good with your points for right now, David. We've kind of got the bucket list going forward. Having been through this whole process, is there any advice you would give somebody who's listening to the show that's on the fence about buying DVC?
Yeah, if you can be disciplined and buy DVC, whether you do direct or resale, and I would do direct if it was me, but it depends on the deal. But if you can do it and you're disciplined to sell it at the 20-year mark, I think you're going to get a bunch of free vacations or dues, whatever the dues are, and then basically make money as an investment back. We're not guaranteed that, but what history has shown so far, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. And then what I do, if you're going to go direct, I think pro tip of the day is you buy the 150 point or whatever the minimum at that time is. Right now it's 150 points for the blue card, and then you buy another contract for whatever amount of points you get. So if you do 250 points, I would do 150 and 100, so that if you ever need to piece off that 100 and get some money back, you still have your 150 that counts for your blue card. And so that's why I did the 125 on my 250. One, because then I could give it to different kids, or if we just needed to sell 125 off and keep 125, we could still do that. So that's what I would do.
Yeah. I call that being mindful of the exit strategy. And that is like some key advice to buying direct. And really buying resale as well, because every now and then you'll see 500-600 point contracts out there on resale, and they're at an insanely low price, but there's very few buyers that can be coming up with 50-60 grand to buy a 600 point contract. Like it's it's not there. And so if you've got that and you're going to use them, hey, that's another story. But I wouldn't intentionally go out of my way to like buy the big contracts. I'm with you. I like my exit strategy. I like to know if something happens, I can shave off in the back of my mind, here's what I'm going to do. Like with me owning Disneyland Tower, Poly, and Copper Creek, I've got a bunch of 50 pointers at Copper Creek. And I know if I ever had to sell something, I'm amputating a Copper Creek contract. And then as soon as those are done, then if I was really dire, I'd have to amputate the Polys. But now with the new tower, and if it does really truly end up being the same condo association and DVC sticks behind that statement, then those are going to be worth even more to me, because now I'm going to be able to bank, borrow, and get 1 bedrooms. And 1 bedrooms on the monorail will be sweet.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's awesome, David. I want to thank you so much for joining the show today. And thanks for coming back in and sharing your story.
Well, thanks for doing the show. I always love when I see them pop up in my podcast, and I get a little excited to drive to work that day. So thanks for putting them out. Appreciate all the hard work.
Yeah, we like making people's days as well. So if you would like to share your DVC story, we ask that you do have a couple of years experience, but you can go over to mydvcpoints.com/MVP. fill out the form. We'll look it over and then send you a link that you can schedule a time with me to sit down and record. That puts another episode in the books. I'd like to do a huge shout out of thanks to our sponsors over at World of DVC, including DVC Rental Store, DVC Resale Market, and Monera Financial. And also a huge shout out of thanks to our Patreon members. If our show has been a blessing to your family, consider going on over to Patreon as well so you can help offset some of the costs of the show. We're always looking at doing new things. I just bought a new camera that I'm looking at recording some Patreon content. It is a webcam, and I found another YouTuber friend that does this, and he does Patreon content where he's just driving around. And I was like, well, I could easily do that as well. And I'm driving around Walt Disney World, so I can bring you guys home for a little trip and kind of talk about some things that I wouldn't necessarily talk about on air as well. So that content is coming into the Patreon feed. I've just got to start finding some daylight hours because by the time I get off work now, it's 5:30 and it's pretty dark out there. And I don't think you guys want to see a dark Disney World, but it could be fun. We'll try it either way. Thanks everybody for tuning in to today's episode. Hopefully you learned something in David's story to go out there and plan something magical for your family.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. You know I'll come back. What DVC?
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC Points is not affiliated with Disney Vacation Club, the Walt Disney Companies, or any subsidiaries. We encourage listeners to contact their DVC guide or member services for official DVC policies.